Our fifth convert is one that's particularly near and dear to my heart. We're going to get a little closer to someone still living today, but we're going to talk a little bit about Peter Hitchens. You can find an entire book-length treatment of his conversion in his book, The Rage Against God. Peter Hitchens is brother to the more famous atheist skeptic who unfortunately died just recently of brain cancer, Christopher Hitchens, the author of God Is Not Great, and the public intellectual who is this globe-trotting journalist like his brother, again, astoundingly well-educated brothers. Peter came to leave his, what he would call smug and angry atheism. Hitch never left that. Hitchens, again, died just recently, leaving Peter to be this this person who's not too excited about what the future holds for at least the West. But in his Rage Against God, he looks at a couple of different things that led him out of his naturalistic atheism. The first thing he talks about is getting this gnawing idea that his posturing and his angst and his mockery of Christianity and theism in general and Christianity in particular was empty. It didn't have anything, first and foremost, to replace that thing you were rejecting. Second was him going and actually spending time as a reporter, a journalist, and a writer in communist countries where they had significantly excised the God idea out and seeing the devastating effects of that sort of thing and trying to resist the idea that this was primarily because they had gotten rid of the God idea. And last but not least, he felt this overwhelming sense of guilt and dread about his future in observing Christianized art. And he started to get the idea that, okay, when I go into a cathedral, I may mock, but I don't know any moderns that can do something like this. They're at least brilliant architects, right, who were at least committed enough to not even see the end of their art before they died. That committed to something. You need a supernatural commitment to do something this excellent and something this significant. Same thing with other great works of art and at a civilizational level as well. And then he just finally came out and said, I submit myself to this higher power. I'm not quite sure what it is, that agnostic prayer. If you're out there, would you speak back to me? I'm sorry for my sins. So he was prone to the moral argument. He was looking at the sociological and artistic aesthetic impact and going, well, this doesn't seem commensurate with idiots and yokels and morons. Listen to some of these quotes from The Rage Against God. But my excitement was undimmed, Hitchens says. There were no more external absolute rules. The supposed foundations of every ordinance, regulation, law, and maxim, from don't talk after lights out and give way to pedestrians on the crosswalk to thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt do no murder. Honor thy father and mother, and inasmuch as you've done unto the one of the least of these, my brethren, you've done it unto me, was a fake. And this was exciting to me. Praying was a comical folly. Hymns were so much wailing at an empty heaven. Churches were absurd. Buildings in urgent need of conversion into something more useful or for demolition. Anyone could write a portentous book and call it scripture. And then there were things I thought and wrote and said, the high, jeering tone of my conversation, the cruel revolutionary rubbish I promoted, sometimes all too successfully, with such conviction that I persuaded some others to swallow the same poison. But I still do not know what it was, as after him talking about his long chapters-long journey, slowly coming out of his very vociferous atheism. But I still did not know what it was. I no longer avoided churches. I recognized in the great English cathedrals and in many small parish churches the old unsettling messages. One was the inevitability and certainty of my own death. The other was the undoubted fact that my despised forebears were neither crude nor ignorant, but men and women of great skill and engineering genius, a genius not contradicted or blocked by faith, but enhanced by it. The simple beauty of a hammer beam roof or a Norman chancel arch, let alone the pillars in Durham nave, seemed to be quite beyond the architects and builders of our own enlightened age. I did not have a religious experience per se. Nothing mystical or inexplicable took place. No trance, no swoon, no vision, no voices, no blaze of light. But I had a sudden strong sense of religion being a thing of the present day, not imprisoned under the thick layers of time. A large catalog of misdeeds, ranging from the embarrassing to the appalling, replayed themselves rapidly in my head. I had absolutely no doubt that I was among the damned, if there were any such thing as the damned. No doubt I should be ashamed to confess that fear played a part in my return to religion. I could easily make up some other more creditable story. But in recent times, it's grown clear that in my own country, the Christian religion is threatened with a dangerous defeat by secular forces that have never been so confident. In the United States, where Christianity appears stronger, it is by no means as powerful and secure as it imagines. Why is there such a fury against religion now? Why is it more advanced in Britain than in the USA? I have had good reason to seek the answer to this question. I found it where I might have expected to have done if only I had grasped from the start how large are the issues at stake. Only one reliable force stands in the way of the power of the strong over the weak. Only one reliable force forms the foundation of the concept of rule of law. Only one reliable force restrains the hand of the man of power. And in an age of power worship, the Christian religion has become the principal obstacle to the desire of earthly utopians for absolute power. Peter Hitchens is our number 5, The Rage Against God. Go read it. You will not be disappointed. An incredibly powerful scholar, an incredibly powerful thinker that now has an allegiance to Jesus Christ in opposition to his late brother, Christopher.